This morning, I'm in the car, ready to go up to the Hunter Valley for a wine tasting experience, a vertical of 12 vintages of the Kiss Shiraz from Thommo Wine. Should be there by 10 a.m. And just like that, we've arrived at the Hunter Valley, and I'm excited to do a vertical tasting of Andrew Thommo Wines, their flagship wine, the Kiss Shiraz. So we'll be doing a vertical tasting 12 different vintages of that Kiss Shiraz. Let's get into it. Kiss Shiraz is a cheeky name for a serious wine. It is an individual vineyard Hunter Valley Shiraz grown on the tough clay and loam soils of the Pokolbin Estate vineyard, planted in 1969. These naturally low-cropping vines consistently produce fruit with exceptional depth and concentration. Hand-picked and matured in top-quality French oak, Kiss is the benchmark Shiraz for Thommo wines, expressing the absolute best qualities of each vintage. The first vintage of Kiss Shiraz was in 2001, and since that time, this label has received countless wine show awards and accolades. The Hunter Valley is the birthplace of Shiraz in Australia. The styles produced here are unique to the region. Hunter Shiraz is proudly medium-bodied with a distinctively savoury structure and food-friendly texture. An inwardly concentrated core ensures the best examples of Hunter Shiraz have amazing long-term cellaring potential. The modern style of Hunter Shiraz is a far cry from the wines of yesteryear. The contemporary style displays an aromatic fruit purity and vibrancy, all framed within a regional, medium-bodied structure. This, together with a more hands-off approach to winemaking, has allowed the true character of each vineyard to shine through just the way wine should be, with the way Thommo Wines and Andrew Thommo have crafted their wines. The tasting was structured as 3 brackets of 4 wines each. The brackets gave you a good cross-section of tasting different vintages across different years, which was an experience. It was also great to be able to hear from the winemaker themselves explain the wine in their own words.
Deliberately, from a winemaking point of view, was pushing boundaries, because people wanted big wines, and the Hunter doesn't make big wines, so I deliberately, from a winemaking perspective, push some boundaries. So things like just pushing for that extra level of ripeness in the vineyard. So, whereas these days we'd be Beaumet, sugar levels and everything, but around 13.5% potential alcohol is kind of where Hunter Shiraz gets that beautiful window of ripeness. But back in those days, we're always pushing for that extra level of ripeness, trying to get to 14, 14.5, trying to make a bigger wine.
The Pokolbin Catering Company also helped provide food as well to accompany the wine to support it with food pairing. So there was tasting plate, main, and cheese.
And also a chorizo, which is our local feta from Benori, and chorizo is roasted with a bit of sugar and sherry rose vinegar. So the 2 hot ones, Scotch egg and the artichoke. So if you want to start there first, rather than let it go too cold.
And that's a wrap from a day of tasting 12 incredible wines from 12 different vintages. It's just amazing seeing the difference in the variety in between each vintage to vintage, seeing how the age of the wines impacts its taste, how it feels, and also the way a different year in different conditions. So thinking about the years of 17, 18, 19 and how good those growing conditions were, as well as looking at vintages in the Hunter Valley like 2014 and 2011, comparing the differences between those wines and how they're tasting. And it becomes just thinking about different degrees of excellence, that there's just such marginal differences, small little qualities, that they're all such delicious wines. It's just so many little things going into the differencing to make one distinct from the other, but then it being its whole wine in its own right, along with house style of Thomas wines. So just a really interesting and awesome experience. Got to hear from the winemaker, the vine grower, vigneron, which is also awesome, and the owner of the vineyard that the grapes come from. So I got kind of 3 layers, and just seeing the 3 of them interact was really an experience that's memorable, because there's no marketing talk. It's very direct about how the conditions are, what it feels like when grapes are dropping to the ground, but then it also balancing that with the quality of the final product in the wine as well. So it was just an awesome experience, and the food was delicious as well along the way. And I'll see you in the next video. It's time to start the drive back towards Sydney. Bye everyone.